Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel for this week's episode of Transfer Tuesday. So every week I share what our goals are for that week of what money we are putting towards one of our specific goals. So this week for Transfer Tuesday was focusing on paying down our mortgage so that we can drop the PMI insurance by the end of this calendar year. So earlier this year, I think maybe last month, we had received a notice that we had overpaid into the escrow account and that they then sent us a refund. I think I mentioned that in a previous video. And then they rebalance that your payment with your escrow in it and determine a new payment going forward because they hope that that doesn't happen again. So they kind of rebalance that. So this was the first month where that new payment took effect. And prior, I had it set so that it was a nice even amount. Like I had the payment plus an additional $100, brought our monthly payment to $2,000.50. Well, now that they readjusted that, I didn't know until the payment went through. But the new payment amount was, 1985. I'm sorry, it was $1885.79 plus the $100 that I had already set to automatically add on to that as part of just that payment. So the total was $1985.79. So I logged in and I tried to readjust that. They have in theory, a nice setup on the website if it would actually work for you to be able to choose how much you want to contribute additional in principal towards that payment. So when I did the math, it was going to be an additional $114.21 if I wanted to bring it back to an even $2,000. Well, the website wasn't working and wouldn't let me do that. It said I needed to call, and honestly, I just don't want to call. So I left it alone, even though it's odd numbers and I don't like that, but it's fine because part of my strategy is after that payment posts and actually hits my account so it shows what our new balance is, I log back in and make an additional payment. So I'm going to give you some numbers for example. So after the typical monthly payment posted, our balance was $347,190.05. So it's a mental game I like to play with myself to help keep myself motivated, and just because I like even numbers and because this is something that I'm tracking as we continue to work towards paying that $22,000 in principal this year to be able to drop that PMI insurance. So looking at that number, I knew, okay, $190.05 would bring me down to the next even thousandth of an amount. And that would allow me to check off a box on my my vision board that I have next to me that I track each thousand payment so that as we work our way down. So I also had some additional money from tax returns and things like that. So knowing that we still had quite a ways to go to reach that goal, rather than just paying the $190, or I would round that up to an even $200, I decided to pay $1,200 towards that. So an additional $1,000 towards that principal payment. So once that payment processes, so I think I did that on Saturday, actually, I think. So it hasn't quite cleared the bank account yet, but that should bring our balance down to $345,990. So that allowed me to actually check off another box on there to get under the 346 mark. So as you can see, our mortgage is rather large. So that can be very overwhelming and feel like, oh my gosh, we're going to be paying on this till the day we die. Well, that is far from my goal. I obviously am working to pay that off faster, and looking at a large number like that is very intimidating. So that's why we've broken it into smaller chunks. So this year the focus is just dropping that PMI so that we're saving money that way, and that additional $48 will then go towards the principal and not just to nothing, basically. So I'm not sure come next year what our mortgage specific goals will be, or if we're gonna kind of maybe just pay a little bit extra like we are, like the $100, $200 a month extra, and focus maybe more on other financial goals like real estate investing. Obviously, that's still a long ways away, and we haven't quite determined what that's going to look like. But I just encourage you to kind of break up those big goals, make them smaller and more attainable so that it's not so overwhelming. So even if it's, 5,000 or 10,000, whatever those numbers look like for you, making it attainable and making it visual. I'm a highly visual person, so I do have a vision board I create every year, and on it I put a picture of our actual house, and then below it I put 22 boxes, each one representing 1,000, so that's the $22,000 in principal that we need to pay in order to drop that PMI. So having something visual like that I look at on a constant basis helps to keep me motivated towards achieving those goals. And every month when I sit down, I could say, okay, well, we still have quite a few boxes we need to check, so we better step it up. So just having something visual in front of you is going to help keep you motivated as well. So that was my update for this month. So total, it was an additional $1,300 towards the principal of our mortgage. And I will be sharing again next week what our goals that we're working on for next week probably will be more money towards the Roth IRA. So that's it for me for this week, and I will see you next week.